what does a dog toy and a prey dummy and a rabbit cuff and a dog treats and a little red working cocker called Foxy have in common? Well, all of those were the inspiration for the Les Grimm retrieving roll, which I designed in 2014. Originally, it was designed purely for Foxy because we could not get her to retrieve. I was known for having a bit of a reputation for working with reluctant retrievers, which I first talked about in 2010 in the Pet Gun Dog book. So to me, a reluctant retriever is the dog that either doesn't want to pick up, wants to pick up and doesn't want to bring it back, doesn't want to go out for the dummy, picks it up and takes off with it, or is just not motivated at all. You know, retrieving is just not its thing. And Foxy kind of covered all of those bases, really. So she was a little red cocker who came training with me. There was about 5 dogs at the time that I really struggled to get retrieving, which is quite unusual because normally I specialise in reluctant retrievers, and so I was really scratching my head with this little dog. And there was also another little black and white Springer who we were struggling with as well. And so I tried her on this toy, which kind of makes a lovely jingling noise, and it throws, when you throw it, it really goes out like the clappers. Showed her out, she'd look at it, no, not really, not interested. And then eventually we said, let's try her with some treats. So we tried her. It was actually a bag of Nature's Menu treats, which I haven't got. So I tried her in a bag of treats, and Rosanna, her owner, took her off and had her retrieving a bag of treats at home in the kitchen, which was awesome. It's like, right, we think we've got it, we think we know what's gonna float this dog's boat, if you like. So I thought, right, what can we do to take it to the next level with retrieving a treat? And so I went and bought a prey dummy. I don't know if you've seen a prey dummy. It looks at this is it here. This is the original. This is the original prey dummy. It's been out a long time. I mean, we're talking. It was 10 years ago that I designed the retrieving roll. It came out in 2015. It was launched at Crufts in 2015. So we got a prey dummy and put some food in it. But what Foxy did is she would take it by the end, and we tried it on a couple of dogs, not just Foxy, is they would pick it up and they would grab it by the toggle and give it a really good shake, you know. So that was introducing issues. So by trying to cure one issue, we were going to introduce another issue. So that was off the menu. So what I then did was I got a bigger prey dummy and I put a couple of tennis balls in it. Well, it was a tennis ball and a canvas ball as well, to try and get the dog to pick it up without grabbing it and shaking it. But that didn't work either, because she started crunching it, and she was, I don't know if you can hear that, but it's plastic lined, and so it was creating an issue that way as well, because it was making a noise. And the other problem that we had is the dogs would then open the Velcro, and I don't know if you can see this, the zip, I mean, this is very old now, this is going back like 10 years. The zip ended up being full of mud, where the dog would grab hold of the prey dummy and then they'd run it across the ground like that. And so the zip got all mangled with bits of grass, and the zip didn't last very long. As you can see, I'm really struggling to get it open now because of the amount of mud that's in there. So the prey dummy was out of the window as well. And we tried like this was one of my favourite little dummies. It was a Quest dummy from years ago, again, when Sue Jackson on Quest. Not interested. And then I was still scratching my head over what to do with this little cocker, because she was a fantastic dog. We really wanted her picking up. And then I did a cold game day. And when I'm introducing cold game, I always start in the morning on like fur dummies and pheasant dummies, you know, the ones that are wrapped on pheasants, so that when the dogs do go on cold game, they're not going to try and, you know, chew it or pluck it or anything. And I got out of my training box this, which is a rabbit cuff, and this was, I mean, again, this is like, it's old, it's solid, it doesn't do anything. But this, just had a feather drop out of my lap. This is a rabbit cuff, which was designed by High Lost years ago by Helen at High Lost, which doesn't do them anymore. And I just had this aha moment. I thought, what I need is something that isn't going to get ruined by the dog like scraping it along the ground, so that no zips, because that will just damage the zip and then we'd end up not being able to use it. I didn't want something that the dogs could take hold of by the end, so I didn't want a flappy thing on the end that the dogs could give it a shake to. When I used the rabbit cuff, I thought we need something like that, but what we need is something that I can transition from wrapping around a bag of treats to a toy to a dummy and then a cold game, you know, because at some point I want the dogs to go shooting as well. So from there I thought, well, why, rather than wrap it around a bag of treats, why not have the treats embedded within whatever it is? And so I came up with the design for the Les Graham retrieving roll. So this, as I say, this was 2014. This is the actual prototype that I designed way back when. Okay, so it was a tiny, just a little thing like this, very simple, quite crudely put together, because being the prototype, that's what you do. You want to make sure it's not going to cost you a lot of money if it goes wrong, if it doesn't work. And contacted Gen Con with the idea, and Andrew said he would do it. So I got Nick Ridley involved, and as Nick Ridley will vouch and verify, we turned up on the day and with a handful of dogs and this prototype. Nobody knew what was going to happen. You know, I just said I'd come up with a design and I was hoping it was going to help the dogs that didn't want to retrieve. Foxy was classic. She would run up, she would run out really enthusiastic. She would look at the dummy, she would hunt, and she'd take off. And so there was a couple of dogs involved, and I said to Nick Ridley, can you come and do the videoing for me? And we did it, the retrieving roll, we did it over about 20 minutes. And the dogs were retrieving within 20 minutes. And since that first video and that first launch, as I say, at Crufts in 2015, the retrieving roll, which then ended up looking like this, which a lot of trainers, thousands of trainers, thousands and thousands of trainers have used to train a dog to retrieve with a wee pouch. But it's been nearly 10 years that it's been out. So I had a chance call at the CLA this year, a chance chat at the CLA this year, so 2024, with Sam Gold of Gamekeepers Goods. And we were just chatting and said, you know, it's time for a revamp of the retrieving roll. And so on the 1st of November 2024, just in case you're watching this like next year in 2025, 1st of November 2024, I'm launching the new version of the Les Graham retrieving roll. I've taken into account all of the conversations that I've had with trainers over the last 10 years. Fundamentally it's the same, but it's a lot better. So it's been called, a couple of trainers who tested it for me. Since I registered the design and we've had a couple made up, I've had some trainers test it for me. And I've been told the first one was awesome, the second one is superb. And also that the new one is a superior beast, which I'll take, thank you very much. So it comes out on the 1st. As I say, I've taken into account different bits of feedback that I've had over the last few years. I've contacted trainers who've used it successfully and said, you know, what what are we lacking, and I will tell you one thing only. One change. There has been a few changes. One thing is you can get it in more than green, which is really exciting. You could only ever get it in green with Gen Con. So it's going to be in different colours. I'm not going to tell you what colours it's going to come in. You'll see that soon enough. But it's only going to be available from either direct from Gamekeepers Goods or through your trainer, or you know, a gun dog shop that sells lots of different training equipment. It's not going to be available, or certainly I'm not going to be selling it on Amazon. As soon as I got back from the CLA, I stopped selling the retrieving roll because I knew there was going to be a new one coming soon, and it's taken a little while, but it's on its way. So the new updated superior beast of a retrieving roll, of a Lesgren retrieving roll, will come out on the 1st of November, and you need to get from Gamekeepers Goods. Enjoy and have great fun motivating those reluctant retrievers to get out there and pick a retrieve up.